G'day men, welcome to Secret Men's Business. My name is Steve Tague. Today I'll be talking about the core, my favourite part of the body to work. The reason I got so involved with working the core is I have serious degeneration of L4, L5 and S1 discs, and in order to maintain good movement and health, I really do need to focus on my core strength. And I've also found that it's very beneficial having good core strength in doing all the things I love to do: weightlifting, calisthenics, anything strength related. A lot of people see core as more of an aesthetic thing, and when they try to embark on a journey of enhancing their strength, if you like, purely to get a six-pack, they realise that it's a lot harder than they first thought. To get a six-pack, you really do need to get your calories in order and be in calorie deficit, and it's very hard to maintain. You can build up your strength in your core, but don't expect to have a six-pack overnight. It may happen, but you're going to have to be very diligent with your diet, and you're going to have to work your core a lot. Now, there's a lot of exercises that you can do to strengthen your core. I'll go through some of the basics. We'll look at, from a beginner's point of view, with some tweaks to enhance those movements. The core is not just the tummy, but it's pretty much that whole area from back to front. So your back, the sides and the front, that whole box. First exercise we'll look at is a basic one that I get most clients to do initially when they first come to me. And that is a dead bug. So you lie down with your legs in the tabletop position, knees pointed up, and your shins are parallel to the ground, and fingertips pointed up as well. Rest your head, and you're just going to extend your opposite limbs, keeping the others static, coming back to that position, doing the same or equal amount on both sides. What we want to try and be mindful of whenever we're doing core exercises is to brace and to also be mindful of the gap in the small of your back. As you do certain movements, that will want to come up and put pressure on your back, so you have to really brace yourself and push down in order to combat that. Not so bad in this one, but when we start to do two limbs at a time, you'll really notice it. So another one we can do is just hold this position and then just reach up and come back. Notice how my shoulders are leaving the mat, and I'm trying to reach up as far as I can, keeping this static here. Reaching up, directly up. Now if I take my hands back and bring my shoulders up, I'm going to hold tension in that top part of the core, and then I can start to add one limb at a time. This is where you start to feel the small of your back start to come up. And you really have to focus on pushing it down. We can do both legs. This is where we really need to brace. Slow and steady wins the race with these exercises. So of course you're not going to advance to some of these if you don't feel comfortable or strong enough. Just keep going with the lower range of movements, and as you get stronger you can include them. Or you can just hold that position there, pointing the toes to create length through the body, reaching your fingertips, keeping your shoulders up off the ground, off the mat, and pushing the small of your back down into the mat. That's called a hollow hold. Now another basic one which I start with is a bird dog. So we want to have our knees under our hips and our wrists under our shoulders for this one. Back nice and straight, pointing your toes. And we're going to do pretty much the same thing but in reverse. So we're going to reach with opposite limbs, come back to that position, pausing at the top. And we're working that posterior chain, we're working the lower back, the glutes, and in part the upper back. Now to ramp that up a little bit, point our toes and come up off the mat with our knees and do the same. Much harder. You really got to focus on stabilizing, and you use a lot more core. What we can do as well is we can just do one side. So we come up and then bring the elbow to the knee to get a bit of a crunch and then come back. Always trying to keep your back straight, hips and shoulders horizontal. Make sure whenever you do one side, you do equal amount on the other side. Another good one for people who are relatively new to get into is a plank. Low plank I find is my favourite option because it gives you better stability, but you can do a high plank version, which I'll show you in a moment. So what you want to do, get yourself straight on the ground. You want to have your elbows underneath your shoulders. I'll come up a little bit. Pointing your toes and creating a nice straight line to hold that plank position. Be mindful here, if you relax your core and let your hips sag forward, that's not what we're trying to achieve here, and it will put pressure on the small of your back. So you really do have to keep your core engaged and keep your hips up level with your shoulders. Just holding that position, 30 seconds to a minute, do sets of them. Average strength would be anything over a minute. If you can't achieve a minute in that plank, you've got some work to do, but that's okay. Let's have a look at the high plank. Same thing, only we're on our hands now. Wrists under shoulders, nice straight line. Keeping your neck neutral. Well, look at the sit-up. It's a bit contentious. Some people don't like it at all. A couple of things I do when we're doing them. I have a bit of a bony bum, a bit of my coccyx sticks out a little bit, so when I'm doing sit-ups, normal version sit-ups, it tends to rub and gets a little sore. So what I've discovered over time is to open up my hips and it tucks it in, but it also allows me to recruit more of the hip flexor muscle, because initially starting the sit-up, it can be a little dangerous on the back if you're not doing it properly. So I always encourage my clients to have the soles of their feet together, knees apart before they start, and swing with your arms to get that momentum. So pull your arms back, pull forward violently as you sit up, come up and then back down again. And then what you'll find is once you've got that movement, you probably need less pull forward with your arms. Another one we can do to look at the obliques, the side of the core, is back into that tabletop position, shoulders up, we've got the tension already, and we're going to reach side to side. If that's a little hard for you, what you can do is pop your feet down, but still try and keep your shoulders up and reach to your heels. Let's have a look at the back now. So a good one for the lower back, the erector spinae, just above the bottom, and the glutes is Superman's. So we lie on our belly, pointing our toes, reaching our arms forward. And what we want to try and achieve here is bringing our chest up as high as we can, but at the same time, our thighs up. So we're squeezing our glutes without bending our knees too much, trying to get the top of our legs off the mat. Pause and come back down again. Find it very hard to breathe up there, so you won't be able to stay up there too long. So that's creating pressure in your shoulders and your neck. What you can do is bring your arms down beside you and do a parachute version. This tends to load up. So the more we have our limbs extended, the more we're going to feel that because it just creates a bit more load. So just shorten that if you need to. Yeah, I just want to motivate you to think about using your core a lot more, getting it stronger for health of your back, but also to realize that it is the connection from the lower body to the upper body. So if you want to be efficient with movement and you want to be able to generate power from the ground up, if you have a weak core, you'll lose that connection and that ability to efficiently garner that energy. Think about boxers, kickboxers, fighters, footballers. In order to generate power in upper body, they drive off the ground, but they have strong cores. That not only helps them to move efficiently, but in fighting, having a strong core is fantastic. If you get hit in that area, you'll be able to brace and it won't hurt you as much. So yeah, think about including some more core exercises into the equation with your training. There'll be more to come. This is a basic one. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can contact me on www.rockhardfitness.com.au. I operate in person in Sydney, predominantly in the inner west and the CBD. I run boot camps and outdoor PT, and also available online for online programming and the like. So thank you very much for watching.